Hey guys, Thomas Gold here. Welcome back, tutorial session. And today I'm gonna show you what I did to the vocal in my track Remember. And if you listen to the dry vocal, you can see that it's quite warm already. There's a lot of emotion to it, and I wanted to keep that vibe. I wanted just to make it a little bigger and make it fit and sit in the mix, because we have the string section here. And then the vocal comes in.
4 hours of climbing to the wall.
It's very soft, and I wanted to keep that vibe. So my things I did are, first of all, I cut out the low frequencies a little bit, because you don't need them in the mix, and the vocal doesn't have any really sub-harmonies or stuff, and there's so much other stuff going on in the mix that you can easily get rid of that. So that was step number 1, and step number 2 is compression. Yeah, I'm using the VC2A from Waves. It's kind of one of these LA2A style compressors, and it has a very smooth and warm compression. You can drive it really hard and it still sounds natural and not over compressed. And it helps making the energy of the vocal to even it a little bit, you know, because if you don't have it, you can see that the vocal drops in and out here volume wise.
We saw all the sights and I hope.
And if you put on the compressor,
saw all the sights and I hoped.
It's much better to hear. Even the lower parts of the vocal are more understandable, and that's important for the mix, because there's so much stuff going on. You want every single bit to be understandable. So that's the compressor, and I'm adding another compressor limiter thing to it. It's the inflator, which just helps bring out the whole vocal a little bit more and limit it a little bit. So that's the next step, and then I'm adding this little guy here, which is basically an emulation of an analog mixing console, and it adds a little bit of saturation and harmonic distortion to the sound.
Saw all the sights and I hope to color in all these lines.
Yeah, and I'm using it to roll off the low frequencies a little bit. You can do that here, and boost the high end a little bit here. So a little bit of high end, less low end, and the mids are coming out nice and clearly, and then I use the drive a little bit of saturation, so it makes it all sound a little bit more, I would say, natural and vintage sounding. And then we're gonna have a reverb plugin.
Saw all the sights and I hope to color in all these lines.
I use this because the vocal sits much better in the mix when you put it into kind of a room or space. And I'm also adding a delay, a very simple one, like the Logic
Saw
delay.
all the sights and I hope to color in all these.
And I'm filtering the delay so that it's only between 1 kilohertz and 14 kilohertz, or maybe even lower than that. So the delay itself doesn't clash with all the other sounds, but it's still there. And if you put it in context with the whole mix, you see how much better the whole vocal sits in the mix now.
Saw all the sights and I hope to color in all these lines. That would draw all the sights and I hope to color in all the.
Nice. But what you already can hear is that the S's are quite strong and maybe a little bit annoying.
Saw all the sights and I hoped.
You see, the saw all the sights, they kind of jump in your face, and what I'm doing here is using a de-esser.
We saw all the sights and I hope to color. We saw all the sights. Saw all the sights and I hope to.
So it makes it more even, and the S's and the S, all these kind of sounds, the noises actually, they sit better with the rest of the vocal. And because of the de-esser, which takes away the high frequencies a little bit. I'm gonna add some of them again, but in a way broader, with a broad curve here. You can see it. There's this one here.
We saw all the sights and I hope to color
So it brings back a little bit the brilliance and adds some sparkle to the sound. And I'm cutting away more of the low end again, because with all the processing there might be some newly generated low end, and it's always good to have it cleaned up. You can't have enough of cleaned up sounds in a mix. Then these two guys here, they're actually to fix some resonance frequencies, and you hear them when you go a little bit further in the track.
It was one of the nights we'll say.
Let me solo this.
It's one of the nights we'll say. One of the nights.
So you will see what I'm talking about when I put these things really high up. I crank them up. So instead of cutting, I'm boosting these frequencies, and then you see what happens.
It's one of the nights we'll say.
Yeah,
one of the nights.
it gets very nosy and very, yeah, kind of annoying, the sound. And these are so-called resonance frequencies, and you don't want to have them in the mix, and you don't actually need them. So what I'm doing is I really cut them. I really get rid of them, both. You can cut them like up to 12 dB, maybe if it's necessary even 25, with a very narrow curve, so it doesn't affect all the rest of the frequency spectrum. And then
it's one of the nights we'll say. One of the nights.
And you can see it here, the say, when I loop this. So you can really pick the frequencies by going through the whole frequency spectrum and doing this narrow curve search, and then get rid of all those annoying frequencies. There might be like just one or maybe two or even 5 of them, whatever. And but it helps a lot to get control of the vocal. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have one more. That's the pulse EQ, and I'm gonna add a little boost at around 10K with a very broad curve, and it adds like some sparkle and sweetness to the whole vocal and makes the sun come out. So listen to this.
I don't even know her name to call.
That's it. That was my vocal processing for Remember. I hope you guys had fun. See you for the next one. Just ciao. Bye bye.
Say we'll remember.